Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting interview by Financial Insight. I'm your host, Mwelwa Chibesakunda, and I'm currently at the Agora Village Africa Works outlet in Lusaka, Zambia, about to have an interesting conversation with one of Zambia's listed companies. Today's conversation will take us through the timber industry and recent events at the annual general meeting of ZAFFICO. So stay tuned for more insights and get to know. Hello everyone, we're back, and as I'd indicated, I'm having a conversation with someone from ZAFFICO. Allow me to introduce Mr. Mundia Mundia, who is the Chief Executive of ZAFFICO. Mundia, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, it's such a pleasure for us to finally host you on the Financial Insight Show.
Indeed, I think it's long overdue in a way.
Absolutely, it's long overdue. I mean, we tracked, your listing as a listed company on LUSE. So, we're super excited to have this conversation. But before we get into it, we always have this tradition in Financial Insight where you get to tell us a bit about yourself and your role at the company.
Oh, okay, thank you. I'm a finance person by trade. Of course, I started by selling cement with Lafarge, selling oil with BP, selling financial services with Madison Financial Services. Now I'm selling trees with ZAFFICO.
Wow.
So I'm privileged to lead ZAFFICO through the transformative stage of ensuring that we commercialize the operations. As you know, ZAFFICO has got a mandate has two objectives. One is a commercial one, to ensure that we give a shareholder return. But the second one is to have social impact. And so I'm privileged to take through the organization through that process.
Absolutely, absolutely. And obviously, it's, our conversation comes at the tail end of what has been a very busy week for you. You did just have your annual general meeting. But before we get into that, as Zambia's leading forestry company, how would you assess the current state of the forestry and timber industry, and what key market trends are shaping up ZAFFICO's strategic direction?
Well, in terms of the market trends, we can see that obviously the construction sector booms, and it has a ripple effect on our demand. We realize that there is the uptake of products, particularly timber products, is growing on the back of obviously the construction sector booming. But also if you then have tailwinds like we have currently, where there is a lot of companies that are insisting on recycled products and renewable products, products that are clean. So we find ourselves in a position where we perhaps would add a bit more value to ensure that we create more value for our customers. We are privileged to have a plantation size of 60,000 hectares, though the actual land mass we have is 100,000 hectares. So that privilege provides us with an opportunity to provide market with products that they would require.
And one would obviously also wonder is that, how the company also intends to remain sustainable, especially in light of climate change. How are you navigating that?
Well, climate change impacts our organization very directly, in that clearly we are a company that plants trees, and so we are already a green company. So if there is climate change like there has been lately, where we've had droughts, we've had direct impact. For example, last year we planted in excess of 1,000 hectares, but because of the drought, we ended up replanting an additional 500 hectares just to make sure that we mitigate the impact of drought. But in order to resolve that going forward, we're looking at species that are drought resistant. We are collaborating with colleagues in the region to ensure that we have species, particularly plants that we could plant in future, that would be resilient with respect to climate change, and also focusing the future if we see that the diseases that would be prevalent then could be resolved now in our nurseries, just to ensure that all the operations that we will that we're putting in, the resources that we're putting in now, and that we should have capability to ensure that we can get back in future. As you know, a tree takes about 25 years to grow. So through the cycle of the tree, in ensuring that we meet the shareholder demands, we have to ensure that we really plan ahead in seeing what would be obtaining at the time that we are expected to harvest our crops.
That's a very interesting response, because obviously it speaks to the sustainability of the company. How would you say ZAFFICO's integrating environmental sustainability into its commercial forestry operations, and what long-term initiatives are in place to ensure responsible resource management over the long term?
Yes, so fortunately, because we're long-term planners, we have to really think ahead, and we currently are in the process of collaborating with FSC, who are certifiers of the sustainability agenda. We are hoping that in the next 1 or 2 years, our forests will all be certified. We're also recalibrating our operations to reflect the sustainability agenda. In that respect, we're mechanizing our operations to make sure that we can get a higher yield for the plants that we currently are planting. But also, we are considering we're considering modernizing our nurseries to ensure that the yields that we are likely to get are higher. And in that respect, we're also going to invest substantially in research to ensure that all the plants and all the species that we plant will yield or will give us a yield that we are expecting on an annual basis.
Now, for many of our viewers, that don't know, and I did indicate in the intro that, ZAFFICO is a listed company. What would you say, since the listing on the LUSE has been, some of the most significant ways in which, the company now is able to deliver, value to shareholders?
Well, the strategy we have a three-pronged strategy. One is that we intend to grow the plantation size. Like I said earlier, we have planted 60,000, but we now intend to plant an additional 40,000 hectares to take it to 100,000 hectares. We also then intend to value add. By value addition, we intend to create more value out of a tree. As you know, if you plant a tree and you only sell it as a raw material, in terms of the benefit that you actually get out of your investment is reduced. So we intend to add value, beneficiate, so that we could gain commercial outcomes. Lastly, like any other organization, we also intend to create efficiencies within the operations, and that's obviously automation and digitizing the processes. So the listing has helped us to achieve that by creating a governance structure and transparency that we require to ensure that all these are achieved in the short term.
Right. Now, like I indicated, you've literally just come out of your annual general meeting, your 23rd one as a company. What would you say were some of the key highlights, from your perspective of this recent annual general meeting?
Well, in 2024, we achieved a profit of 738 million. Our assets grew from about 7.5 to 8.5 billion.
That's in Kwacha terms, yes?
That's in Kwacha terms. And so we obviously are making progress, appreciable progress, with respect to achieving our targets, particularly our strategic targets. In terms of going forward, in 2025, we are hoping we could commission a state-of-the-art wood processing plant, the first phase, which is a wet mill, in the second half of this year. That obviously is on the back of last year. We had invested $3 million to expand our pore treatment plant, currently producing 240,000 pores. So we now are able to meet both the local as well as the regional demand.
Now that's good news, because we know that in the past that there was that issue of whether ZAFFICO had the capacity to deliver. So that's good news.
Yeah. So I can confirm that now we have the capability to produce poles sufficient to meet the local demand and also the regional market.
Right. Is the regional market something that you're also
yes.
seeking to?
Yeah. Well, in order to diversify our portfolio of customers. We currently have started trading with customers from the Congo DR, a few from Uganda, as well as the Kenyan market are seeking products from this area.
Right. So obviously, we know that everything you do is embedded in strategy. What would you say are some of the company's overarching priorities for 2025? And are you able to highlight key investment areas and how you see them contributing to the company's goals?
Thanks. So in terms of investment, particularly our value addition agenda, we are investing an additional $5 million in a wet mill, like I said, that we will commission in the second half of this year. Before the year ends, we are also going to invest an additional $10 million into a plywood factory, as well as a particle board factory. So in total, the investments that we are likely to make in the next 2 years are in excess of $30 million in setting up the plant that will allow us to extract commercial value out of the trees that we currently are planting.
Right, so this is basically you guys having value addition to the products themselves.
Yes, so in terms of value addition, clearly we now are going to be a fully integrated wood processing company. So you plant a tree, you wait for it for 5 years, gets to 8 years, you prune it, gets to 25 years, you harvest, and you beneficiate by processing. We think that we should process that timber here to avoid us importing from China and Brazil and the many other countries that we currently are producing. We are currently importing, say, plywood and particle boards, yet we have the raw material, and all we have to do is then beneficiate locally.
Right, so that just basically means that there'll be a lot of investment in skills and skills development within the company.
Yes,
well.
a lot of skills development, and already we are getting graduate trainees to help us to kickstart the development. But also there are a lot of skill sets within the country, a lot of universities that have produced graduates that are currently working outside the country and even within the country that will be able to help us to achieve our objectives. Yes, the skill sets in terms of technology would be required for us to ensure that we achieve this, but we are committed to ensuring that we could invest in our people as well as the technology, as well as the equipment that will allow us to beneficiate and ensure that we create the value locally. We add value in Zambia as opposed to us importing.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Mundia, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Much appreciated. It's always a pleasure. Thanks
Absolutely.
a lot. Yeah.
So there you have it. You've heard for yourself. We've been speaking to the CEO at ZAFFICO. So stay tuned for more insights on the Financial Insight platforms. And you can also find out more about ZAFFICO's recent annual general meeting on their platforms. This has been Mwelwa Chibesakunda. Get to know.